Good morning. Good morning, and welcome to Making Second Chances Possible, the 147th annual meeting of Community Partners in Action. I now call this 147th annual meeting to order. My name is John Weiner, and for the last 4 years, I've had the privilege of serving as the vice chair of the board of directors of this wonderful organization. This morning is particularly special because it marks our first time together back in this space to celebrate the achievements of CPA's indefatigable staff since the COVID pandemic emerged in early 2020. Thank you, as always, to Louis Lista, the owner of the Pond House, and a former board member and forever supporter of CPA, for again hosting this gathering of CPA's friends. On a personal note, I joined this board 6 years ago at the suggestion of Dan Krish, a friend who was completing his own 6 years on the board before cycling off. I loosely knew of CPA through my work with the judicial branch, given its role as one of the system's contracted providers of pretrial services and its since legendary fundraising golf outing. But what I didn't know then was the extraordinary depth of the organization's commitment to its mission and especially its clients. In these 6 years, we've seen CPA maintain the excellence of programs that have made second chances possible, either after or instead of incarceration, such as AICs, resettlement, and of course, prison arts. We've also seen CPA expand its work into juvenile justice and mental health services through the Regions programs in Hartford and Hamden. And finally, CPA has taken a leading role with the reentry welcome centers in both Hartford and Waterbury. It's impossible to engage with our programs, especially our leaders like Verge Lewis and Jeff Green, and not come away feeling hopeful and inspired about what's possible. Now, that feeling of possibility comes from the top at CPA. First, I'd like to recognize our staff leaders, especially Executive Director Beth Hines and Operations Director Deborah Gala. I'd really say my proudest moment as a board member over the last 6 years has been participating in the search and hiring process that led us, as it turns out not very far, to the hiring of Beth as our executive director. Put in a difficult position of stepping into the shoes of a CPA legend, now Judge Maureen Price Borland, Beth has put her own stamp on CPA, as she's led an expansion of the organization's clinical and reentry services and stewarded us through a global pandemic, leaving us coming out stronger on the other side. In just a few moments, I'll be turning this celebration over to Beth. Now, the leadership of a nonprofit organization is often described as two engines, of which the executive director is only one. The board president is the other engine. Our current board president, Ann Stanback, has been that other engine since day one, partnering with Beth to serve as a confidant and strategic sounding board while being a real inspiration to the rest of us. Ann has shared freely of her nonprofit leadership experience gained during her distinguished career as the leader for LGBTQ rights and marriage equality, particularly her service as executive director of Love Makes a Family. Ann is unfortunately able to be here with us today because this event conflicts with a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see the success of her advocacy on a national level, as she is on the way to the White House to watch President Biden sign the Respect for Marriage Act into law. Now, I think she might be watching this, so please join me again in recognizing Ann for her leadership as the president of CPA's board for the last few years. Now, before we turn to Beth for the rest of the celebration, including what I know will be very inspiring remarks from Mr. McGraw, we have some brief business to transact. So having called this meeting to order, I would first note that the nominating committee has suggested the following slate of new board members for CPA. Martika Aldave, the library media specialist at Cornelius Moylan Elementary School. Derek Chernowski, a senior assurance associate at PricewaterhouseCoopers LLP. Gus Marks Hamilton, campaign manager for the American Civil Liberties Union of Connecticut. There's more. We're not done. Gayatri Mane, who is the regional vice president for underwriting at Anthem. Christy Miller, the Director of Development at First Tee, and Thomas O'Brien, who's a retired Senior Assistant Public Defender with the state of Connecticut. So, well, to make them official, I would ask for a motion to close the nominations and have the Secretary cast one ballot to elect these 6 outstanding board candidates. Moved by Hassan Beret, seconded by Marion Griffin. Is there all in favor? Is there anybody opposed? All right, good. I wasn't sure what to do if there was. But so the motion carries. Congratulations to our 6 new board members. Now, the nominating committee has also suggested the following slate of officers for the 2022-2023 year. Michael Kearney, Board Chair, Megan Wade, Vice Chair, Hassan Beret, Secretary, and Derek Chernowski as Treasurer. So again, I'll ask for a motion to close the nominations and have the Secretary cast one ballot to elect this slate of officers for 2022 and 2023. So moved by Jacques Lamar, seconded by Mary Ann. All in favor? Opposed? Abstention? All right, motion carries. And finally, it is now my honor to invite to the podium our Executive Director and friend, Beth Hines, who will lead the rest of this morning's program.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Welcome, everybody. How was breakfast? Delicious, right? Thank you, Louis. All right, so we have a little bit more business to take care of this morning. We have 6 outstanding outgoing board members to honor today, this morning. I'm not sure if everybody's here. There's several of us here. But when I call your name, if you would please come up front to join me, and if you would all please hold your applause until the end. Susan Pease. I don't see Susan today, but I want to thank Susan for your guidance to CPA over the years. You have led our governance committee and helped revise our bylaws. Your passion for our mission has always been recognizable in all that you have done to support CPA. Next is Eric Sandler. I don't think I've seen Eric either. Eric, you have supported our mission for many years. We truly appreciate your commitment. You also guided our efforts on the governance committee, and prior to COVID, held informational sessions at your firm, Day Pitney, to help the lawyers there better understand the work of CPA. Jock is here. Come on up, Jock. So Jock has been an instrumental member of our development committee and key to the success of our Celebrate Prison Arts events. You also connected us to the Mark Twain House for book discussions, which enabled several of our staff to step out of their comfort zones and shine. Thankfully, you aren't going far as you agreed to help plan CPA's 150th anniversary in 2025.
You're putting me on the spot.
I know. I continue to do that. But I will especially miss your incredible sense of humor in our meetings. Thank you so much, Jack. Marion, please join us. Marion Griffin has been a rock for CPA. She has been our treasurer and chair of the finance committee. She also contributed significantly to governance and to our executive committee. I have truly appreciated your attention to fiscal detail and the support you have provided to me and Lisa Mariah, our chief financial officer. Thanks, Marion. Jonathan Weiner. Thank you for stepping in this morning on Ann's behalf while she stands with President Biden today as he signs the Respect for Marriage bill. John, I am so grateful for all you've contributed to CPA over the past 6 years. You have served as our vice chair, member of the executive committee. You've been a trusted board member, offering me sound advice when challenging situations arise. I will miss hearing about your son and your baseball adventures. And of course, thank you for bringing Megan Wade to the board, your claim to fame. And even though Ian is not here today, she's with us in spirit. Ian was our board chair for the past 3 years. She became our chair shortly after I was named executive director, and our partnership grew from there. I have learned so much from Anne, from her expertise in governance and advocacy to advice on development and strategic planning. Anne served on nearly all of our committees, ensuring they continued to move in a forward direction. While I will miss Anne dearly, she is leaving me much more prepared to continue to lead CPA. I will be forever grateful to Anne for her guidance and support. So, thank you. All right. So thank you so much. So as John said, today is extra special, and thank you for joining us here today for our 147th annual meeting of Community Partners in Action. This is the first time we've been together at the Pond House since 2019, celebrating CPA in person. So I hope you've enjoyed your morning so far. First and foremost, I want to thank the staff here with us today. We have many of you here, and it's great to see everybody. Without your dedication and passion for serving others, we would not be able to live out our mission. I would ask that all staff here today please stand to be acknowledged and recognized. Awesome. Thank you. I also want to thank the many funders and donors here with us this morning. The Court Support Services Division of the Judicial Branch is well represented here today, and I'm so grateful for your partnership. I know you're all the way in the back, but thank you for being here today and supporting us. So our year in review. In 2022, we saw many positive initiatives come to fruition, including our expanded reentry services in Hartford and Waterbury, vocational training for the youth in our care at our Regions programs, and our expanded partnership with Career Resources Incorporated that will enable CPA to offer skill building for adults in in-demand industries such as manufacturing and green energy. We also were part of a series of successful events this past year, including Celebrate Prison Arts at Newgate Prison, the ribbon cutting for the new expanded location of our Hartford Reentry Welcome Center, and recently the Bank of America celebration recognizing CPA as a 2022 neighborhood builder. While I could talk about CPA for hours, I promise I won't, the one thing I love to talk about is our significant history. In just 3 years, Jock, you're on that committee for 3 years, yes. In just 3 years, we will celebrate CPA's 150th anniversary, which will be truly remarkable. Our tenure includes starting many initiatives over the years, and I thought I would share just a few. When CPA was first formed in 1875, we were the only agency in Connecticut, public or private, addressing criminal justice issues. Between 1880 and 1910, it is estimated that CPA assisted more than 3,700 people transitioning from prison to their communities. In the mid-1950s, the agency initiated the Volunteer Sponsor Program, the very first use of ordinary citizens as volunteers in one-to-one relationships with people who were incarcerated. In 2020, thanks to our partnership with Court Support Services Division, we opened the first community-based hardware-secure residential treatment program for youth called Regions. While this is a very challenging program to operate, serving our youth is mission-critical work, and we are dedicated to it. This morning, another first for CPA is happening. This is the first time in CPA's annual meeting history when our keynote speaker was at one time a resident of one of our programs. It was our Department of Correction-funded residential substance abuse program on Willis Street in Hartford. And now I have the pleasure of introducing him to all of you. Mr. Daryl McGraw. Daryl is not only today's keynote speaker, he is a colleague and a friend. On June 10th, 2010, Daryl walked out of a Connecticut prison equipped with nothing more than his GED and 6 composition notebooks filled with what he called his 5-year plan for successful community reentry. Daryl hit the ground running, and in a short period of time, he received his bachelor's in human services and master's in organizational management and leadership from Springfield College. Today, Daryl is a certified addictions counselor, recovery support specialist, and criminal justice professional. He has over 10 years of experience and expertise in urban trauma, addiction recovery, and community reintegration. Daryl's journey through addiction and incarceration has prepared him to be a voice and advocate for those who still find themselves caught in the vicious cycles of addiction and recidivism. He is considered an expert in the field of criminal justice reform. In 2018, Daryl formed his own organization, Formerly Inc., Connecticut's first criminal justice reform consulting agency, predominantly staffed by people who were formerly incarcerated. During this same time, he also worked at the Institute for Municipal Research and Policy at Central Connecticut State University as a senior reentry consultant, working to better the reentry process for returning citizens in Connecticut. In 2019, Daryl was appointed the co-chair of Connecticut's Police Transparency and Accountability Task Force. In this role, he connects communities and law enforcement and encourages the hard conversations that lead to legislative change in police transparency and accountability in Connecticut. In 2020, Daryl was inducted to the Connecticut Hall of Change for his tireless advocacy for criminal justice reform and his commitment to restorative justice and the welfare of formerly incarcerated people. Currently, Daryl is the Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for the Connecticut Public Defender's Division. He inspires cultural competency and challenges organizations to move away from the status quo. He also sits on several boards involving reentry and criminal justice reform in Connecticut. Please help me welcome Daryl.
Hey, you guys hear me? I have to set my timer because anybody that knows me knows I can talk a lot. Deb told me to make sure I keep it to 30 minutes or whatever. I won't keep you guys long though. Just give me a sec. All right. How you guys doing? Now, how you guys doing? This is the morning. We need to turn around here, right? We're outside. Right? We're outside. So you guys, first, before I start, I want to say thank you. Most of the times at the end of the speech, you always say thank you. But for CPA, it's a little different. I have to say thank you in the beginning. Because if it wasn't for people like you in this organization, I would not be standing here today. All the accolades, all those letters, numbers, but my inmate number is 183422, right? And I, just like anybody else, I'm a statistic that I'm not supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be doing my 3rd bid. If I'm lucky, I'm supposed to be incarcerated again and or dead, strung out on drugs. But today, I get to stand here with you guys celebrating this opportunity. So once again, thank you. Thank you. 147 years. CPA has come a long way. A long way. And I say that honestly, because I was in the program on Willard Street. And have you guys seen the spread back there? They have eggs with vegetables and tomatoes. I'm a regular egg kind of guy. But I get it. It's a long way from the donuts that they used to give us in Willard Street. And if you go back that far, you'll know what I'm talking about because they were the day-old donuts that Hans would bring in like a Christmas gift in a bag, and he would put them there, and you'd be like excited till you had one. I think those donuts was 146 years old. But at the time, you didn't have anything, so we took that, right? So wow, what a long way you've come. When I talked to Beth about what I was going to talk about and what we were going to talk about, I felt like it's the journey, right? It's the journey, and the reason why I said thank you to each and every one of you, because you are part of my journey. See, I look at CPA as family. Beth and Deb, I consider you family. Sue's here, Mike's here, Gary, and then there's so many others. I walked in with Anderson, and Anderson was talking about his trip, and we were talking about how cold it is, and I was like, man, it's better than being on the back of the ice cream truck chained together, going to court, talking about, man, I hope I can get 3 years today. Tell them I'll take 3 years. Today we're walking into a space that's welcoming. That's one of the things about CPA. It's always been welcoming. No matter what, they didn't judge you for what you did. They always had a space for you. Always felt like home. I ended up at CPA on my mother. I was actually with my mother. I took my mother for her first flight to Atlanta. My brother just graduated and got his master's degree, and my mom didn't want to do the 17-hour drive, so we took her on a plane. I don't recommend this to taking 75-year-old people on a plane. She was freaked out the whole time and very slow. Hopefully, cut that part. But trying to navigate these people through this airport was a challenge, but then I had to think of the gift. What a gift, because there were so many times in life, because of my active addiction, right, and or incarceration, I was not there to show up. I would not have been able to do that. But because of places like this, CPA, you made that possible, that I could not only take her, pay for her, because, it's mom, and she's like, you're making a couple of dollars now. So she just never reaches into her purse, right? But the honor and the privilege, right? Because see, my mom watched me walk in and out of courtrooms for a long time. She saw me in and out of police cars. She told me about the sleepless nights that she had. Every time she heard a siren, she wasn't sure if that was going to be the day that they said that, your son is gone. He's no longer with us. Program after program. She was the reason that I went to CPA. I was pissed at her because I had a really cool probation officer. CCSD don't listen. CSSD don't listen. So I had this probation officer, or parole officer, I forget what you said, this was his name. And I was getting high. And it was kind of laid back then, But my mother, she knew I was getting high. And she kept finding seeds in her bathroom. And she called this parole officer and she said, listen, you either do your job or I'm going to call your supervisor. And that day he put me in his car and he drove me to Hartford. And he was like, listen, I need this job. And if your mother's talking about calling my supervisor, you're going into a program. And I was like, my mom called you and I did that. But that was the introduction, my first introduction to recovery. Today I'm in this purple suit. And those of you that understand recovery, this suit, this color represents recovery. It also represents royalty. This is a space that you guys have given me and allowed me to represent this color wholeheartedly. Once again, thank you. Thank you for being part of my journey. Thank you for being part of my story. The last time I was incarcerated was May 7, 2007. And it was pretty bad. Assault on police officer, the whole gamut. But I remember I was incarcerated in Hartford, West Wing, 25 cell, right? And a guy came by and he says, I don't know the guy. I never seen him before. He says, I got a book for you to read. I said, man, if I was reading books, I wouldn't be in jail. I don't need no book. He's like, no, I think you should read this book. And the book was Purpose-Driven Life by Rick Warren. Anybody shaking hands? So I've been on Zoom a lot. So I like emojis and shaking head, thumbs up. So can I get some thumbs up if you're familiar with the book? You heard of it? Thumbs up. You can hear me. Because I'm just making sure my screen's not still frozen. All right. So he gives me this book, and it's Purpose-Driven Life, and it's a 40-day spiritual journey. Those of you that are familiar, right? So you have to read this book chapter by chapter in 40 days, right? My court date was 41 days away. So I thought God sent me this book for me. It was like, this is for you. This is God speaking to me. So, of course, I'm writing in this book. I'm like, God, you see me? I'm in my cell. I'm doing this diligently. And, I'm writing 1 line, 2 lines, just so I can get out. Because, see, I think God's a bondsman, right? So I'm just trying to get out of jail. if he sees me writing in this stupid book, then I can get out. Right? I think that that's the relationship I have with God. Well, day 25, I start writing and I can't stop. I can't stop writing. I'm writing, I'm filling up notebook after notebook, page after page, I'm writing. See, I had started to realize that there's a process, right? There is a process on this journey, and I started to write, and I couldn't stop writing. And by the time day 40 came, I had already filled up about 2 of those of us that have been incarcerated. I'm not going to stick you out, but I know you guys know what I'm talking about. Those composition notebooks, the black and white ones. CPA probably gives them out in group or whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Those books. I've had already filled 2 of them. And I remember standing in that cell and saying, God, man, I want to go home. But if it's not your will, then I understand. Because during that process, I had found purpose. And man, when you find purpose, see, because there's a lot of people in this room with purpose. Been here over 20 years. Beth, what were you driving back then? A Honda? Yeah. A Geo Metro. See, some of y'all don't know what a Geo Metro is. Google it. Oh, I thought you stole it, because I would have said Dad stole your. Dad, I thought you were going to say Dad stole your Geo Metro. I was like, you were driving a stolen? I knew you were gangster, but you didn't put that on the resume. So day 40 came, and I told God, I said, you know, whatever, I'm ready to go. And when I went to court the next day, I got 4 years, 85%. My lawyer cried that day. You never see a lawyer cry. No offense to lawyers in the room. He said, I thought we did so well. And I was like, man, I'm good. He said, why are you so calm? Why are you so? I said, because see, I found purpose. And my purpose was to use my story to help others find their way out on their path. And everywhere I went in prison, it was crazy. I was a peer mentor from the beginning to the end, to the day I've never stopped being a peer mentor, right? And I didn't even know what a peer mentor was, right? I was in jail and I was helping people. And I remember the guy, really short, I just want to make sure I'm not going over my time. I got a couple more minutes. I remember the guy that was running our group. His name was Rick. And Rick was telling me about his journey. And he said that one day he was at home, he was drunk, he was a drop down drunk. And he said to me, you know, one day I was back in my house, I was looking in a pond or whatever, and I saw my reflection. And I said to myself, I don't want this to be what my kids see. I don't want to leave them that being the lasting memory. And when he said that, that clicked. I said, what do I want my kids to remember me by? How do I want them to see me? Do I want them to know me as this guy that can't stay out of jail, that can't stay off of drugs? What do I want them? I want them to be able to say, that's my dad. That's my dad. Once again, I say thank you. I say thank you because you allowed me to be a dad, right? You allowed me to be that dad. So I don't know how many of you in here think you just go to work. See, because at CPA, this is a calling. Anybody disagree? This is a calling. Those of you that serve on the board, nobody's here by accident. We're here on purpose. This is that purpose, right? So he told me that, and he said, hey, I got a job for you. I want you to be a peer mentor. I didn't know what that meant, but he said, you get out your cell, and then we'll give you $25 every 2. It sounded good. $25 every 2 weeks, and I get out of my cell. I said, okay. But it was something about I didn't understand how. See, sometimes you end up in spaces and things start happening. See, I was already working on my craft. And I worked in that prison, and then I went to infield, and I went a couple of different places, and then I was released. And when I was released, June 10, 2010, I had 6 notebooks by then, page by page, filled with what today I call my 5-year plan, right? And I remember writing a resume, and on the top of the resume, I wrote, Connecticut Department of Corrections Peer Mentor, right? And I got called, like in an hour after I submitted that resume. And this lady said, can you come down? We want to talk to you about your resume. I said, sure. When I got there, she was excited, ecstatic. She was like, we've never had anybody from the Department of Corrections ever come here and apply for a job. She said, what was it like working with those prisoners? I said, well, I tried to explain, and it took me a minute, and then I said, well, I was a prisoner working inside. She said, oh, and she closed the folder. And she said, we'll be in touch. And I went home and I laughed. About 4 days later, they called me back and said, hey, can you come back? Can you come back here? We want to talk to you about your resume. And I told my girlfriend, I said, yo, I know I've been locked up 3 years. Do they usually call you back to tell you didn't get the job? She said, you probably got a warrant. I want to go over. Needless to say, I didn't listen to her. And you know, I want to add this piece because I had one shirt, one pair of pants, and an old black pair of shoes. Hey, Mike, I see you in the back. Check this out. This is a Martha Stewart tip for you. I took some Vaseline and I shined the shoes. Y'all see some of y'all know about it, right? Don't tell everybody. That's free. I'm giving that to y'all, right? I shined the shoes up. And I went back. And I'm not going to lie, because we family, right? I did look around the parking lot for unmarked cars and police cars before I entered the building. And I went in there, and the lady said, you know, we did your background check, and it's pretty bad. I said, yeah, I was busy. You know. She said, but we're going to give you a shot. You know why we're going to give you a shot? Because you have something that everyone in that other room doesn't have. There's bachelor's degrees in there, there's master's degrees in there, but they don't have what you have, what we all have. And that's lived experience, right? So they gave me a shot. And I was the best case manager they ever had in the world. I will say that. Right? But that was just the beginning. That was just the beginning. From there, I ran their young adult program, troubled youth, 18 to 25-year-old. Then I worked at Yale University, right? I worked at Demas as the associate director. I did all these different things, right? But it's the journey. It's not how you start. It's not how you start. It's how you finish. And so I encourage you when you connect with people, because see, it was people like you that said even the smallest thing to me, like, you could do this. Gundam Woman, I see you over there. How many people have you told you could do this? How many people have you told you could do this? It's the nicest thing. Sometimes it's saying, good morning. How you doing today? Right? Because one thing that CPA does well is treat people as human beings. Right? And that's the business that we're in, treating people as human beings. I'm going to close with the saying that I've had a lot of doors and opportunities open, but there's never been a better opportunity to, just like when I got out of prison, I said the only thing I want to do is stay out of jail and not get high. Everything else is gravy. This is gravy, right? Because I have very small hopes. I didn't really know what I was going to do next. And I hope that you guys continue for another 200 years helping people like me get to a space like this. With that being said, I want to say thank you again.
Thanks so much, Daryl. That was awesome. So inspiring. And I was definitely working at Willis Street when you were there. Anybody else at Willis Street back in the early 90s? Who's raising their hand? Leslie? Late 90s? Early 90s, Crystal? Late 90s? Yeah, you guys are younger than me. Stop it. All right, so next we are going to hear from a work release former participant, and his name is Michael Neal. And Kayla Callahan, can you please come up because you are going to introduce him? Kayla is currently a program operations director for CPA, and she has been instrumental in the success of numerous CPA initiatives during her 10-year tenure.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. This morning, I have the pleasure of introducing you to Michael Neal. I'm going to ask Michael to come up, and Miss B too. Come on. So Michael was released from incarceration and admitted to CPA's work release program back in September. During his stay at work release, he participated in many programs, including CRT, Best Chance, and CPA's own Reentry Welcome Center. So when he met with George, George helped him to get into 7 Gent Sober House, where he's currently living. And it's a process to get into that house, and Michael worked his way into that house because of all of the success that he had in our program. Michael also maintained full-time employment at Funny Bones in Manchester, and he'll tell you where he is now once he speaks. He maintained employment throughout his whole time at our program, and while residing at our program, he was a model for other participants. He followed all of our program rules, he paid his rent, and he provided support to his peers. He attended weekly case management sessions with the wonderful Miss B, and he continues his work on his own recovery. Michael encountered several obstacles when he was in our program, but he overcame all of those obstacles because of his own strength and hard work. And we're very proud of him. So I'm going to turn it over to Michael.
Yeah, I did work at Funny Bone. No, you should do your act. You'd be a. Okay, so it was about 5 days ago that Miss B, my former case manager at CPA, called me up and she said, "Michael, would you like to go to a banquet next week?" I said, "Sure, who doesn't love a banquet, right? I'll go to a banquet. Oh, by the way, we'd like to say a few words." I thought I'd be talking to people at my table or something. I didn't know it was going to turn into a speaking engagement. But, so I'm a little nervous, so I ask you to bear with me, please. Like she said, I got out September 22nd, and I went to CPA on 121 Washington Street. All I had was my jail clothes on and a check from my inmate account. That was it. First thing they did, Sonia got me a voucher for clothes. They brought me and they got me some clothes, so I felt human again. That was the first step in building my foundation. So after a week, Miss B sent me out to the bank to open a bank account, like normal people do. Went over and got a phone, which I was going to need. And then she started writing passes for me to go places. I went to CRT, she sent me. She sent me to CCAR. She sent me to the staffing agency, to the Best Chance, to the reentry program. And she didn't just send me out there. She told me where to go, how to get there, what buses to take, who to talk to, what questions to ask these people. All building a foundation for me, okay? So it's like, okay, we're gonna help you build the foundation. Then we're gonna give you the tools that you need, and it's up to you to build your house. So if you have this really strong foundation, if a hurricane comes and blows your house down, you can rebuild because you have that foundation. So she gave me all the tools I needed, and I used them. I went out, I got a job at the Funny Bone. That was at night and on the weekends. It wasn't the job that I wanted to do the rest of my life, but it allowed me to keep going during the week to find my career job. So she sent me to the Best Chance. I saw this guy, Daryl, and this is a long process to try to get this job. He helped me with the resume. I went and he sent me over to this other guy, Corey Betts, who had it in with Hartford Hospital. I got an interview. They offered me the job at Hartford Hospital. And then there was a long hiring process for all kinds of legwork, a ton of stuff online, all kinds of paperwork. I had Miss B and Jenna and other people in the place giving me, they're doing this form online and filling stuff out for me to help me get this job. It was great. Jenna's not even my case manager, and she was helping me, right? So they offered me the job, and I got it. $100 in Ubers going all the way out to Manchester to get my drug screen and my physical, and 8 vaccination shots that I needed. 8. Got out of there. Oh, then they sent me to the reentry place. and I got into Seven Gents. Seven Gents is on Lincoln Street. If I threw a baseball from my front yard, I could hit Hartford Hospital property from there. So it was perfect. It was like it was made in heaven, right? So I got out, went there, and I was supposed to start on December 5th at Hartford Hospital. I was supposed to start on December 5th. I quit my other job because I was supposed to start there. I turned down other really good job offers because I had committed to Hartford Hospital. And then 5 days before I was supposed to start, they called and rescinded the offer. They said, you have a restraining order from your wife, and we can't run the risk of you running into her at the hospital. She lives in Florida. Didn't matter, our legal team says that we can't do it. So now I was mad. You don't have to be an ex-con to be mad about something like that, right? Very unprofessional. They had plenty of time to do a background check. So for a day, I seethed about that. But then I said, you know what, listen, if this was 5 or 10 years ago, I wouldn't be here right now talking to you. I'd be out getting high. I'd have a big pity party, poor me, everybody's against me, I'm never gonna be able to do anything, wah, wah, wah. But I had the foundation. I fell back on the foundation that they helped me get. Right? So that hurricane did come and blow my house down. It didn't matter. I rebuilt. I said, you know what? I got a place to live that they helped me get. I got clothes on my back that they helped me get. My rent's paid. I got money in the bank. I got a phone. I got ID. I got 2 feet, 2 hands, and a brain. I'll get another job. Right? Forget it. Everybody's hiring. So I knew the staffing agencies. I knew where to go, who to talk to. Now I'm the general manager at the Wings Over West Hartford restaurant on Park Road. And that's it. Right? Hartford Hospital actually did me a favor. Right? I wouldn't have got this job if I had much more money, better benefits. It's really a great job. Now I'll be hiring people. And it was all due to the foundation that they gave me. Everybody there, Kayla, Miss B, Jenna, Sonia, these are the best people in the world. Let me tell you something. When I told them that I got this great job, you never see 4 people so happy. I told Sonia, she ran in the back and got Miss B and everybody else, he got the job, right? You can't fake that. It's a reflection on them that I got this job. I did the legwork. They gave me all the tools I needed, and I built my house. That's all I have to say.
Michael, I'm so happy you came to our banquet. Woohoo! All right. So now it's time for the Ann Koletsky Awards, and I am going to call Deborah Gala up to the podium. I think all of you know Deb. She is our Director of Operations and a true treasure to the agency.
Aww.
All right.
Thanks,
Don't
Bob.
mess it up.
Really? Don't mess it up. Those were the last words she said. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. So this is what it's really about, right? Hearing you, Michael, congratulations. Hearing about the staff that had an impact on you. And then listening to you, Daryl. Yeah, thank you. I'm honored to call you a friend and a colleague. So thanks for your words this morning. So Ann Koletsky, amazing woman, right? And for many years, the way CPA celebrated her is we provided an award for perfect attendance. And it really didn't exemplify really who Ann Koletsky was. Ann started with the agency in 1974 and Beth talked a little bit about it earlier, the volunteer sponsor program. And that program ran for 22 years. And Anne was this incredible woman that I had the opportunity to work really closely with, to learn from, and call her a true mentor in my life. And Anne isn't here this morning. She did say a couple words. She said, "Unfortunately, I'm unable to make today's meeting. However, I send my sincere congratulations to each of the distinguished staff that received this award. The work you do is inspiring and necessary. Thank you for believing in CPA's mission and making a difference every day." So for those of you that don't know, each of these staff are nominated by another staff within CPA. And the criteria is that these staff display a positive attitude and build positive relationships within their programs and within the community. They serve as role models, influencing others in a positive manner. They take responsibility for their own actions. Tough to do, but they do it. They consistently exhibit a high quality of work, often going above and beyond. They demonstrate a true dedication to their participants, to the program, to the mission, and they always display responsibility and dependability. I really have the honor to recognize these incredible staff. So I'm going to call you up, right? Is that how we're doing it? Okay. Right over here. All right, so Jenna, I blew it. Jenna is one of the case managers at our work release program, and this morning I'm saying hi to Jenna and I congratulate her, and she doesn't even know. You're gonna stay up here. And the next is Tracy. Where is Tracy Bernardi? Guzman. Woo! Just so you guys all know, this day actually is about Tracy. Yeah, I did say Guzman. Kayla Callahan, come on up again. Kavish, where are you, Kavish? Get up here. Kavish is with our Regions program. Kavish, did you not know? Is Sherry here? Sherry Fernandez? Come on up, Sherry. Jennifer, come on up. Jennifer's with Regions Hartford. Mike, come on up. Mike LaBianca. Margarito, here's Margarito. Noelle is already up here. Everybody knows Noelle. And Sonia Booz, come on up. So this is our incredible staff that helped build the foundation that Michael was speaking of. And today, because this is Sandra's favorite, we're going to give them, each of them, I'm going to need all of your help here, okay? Arms out. Arms out. Give them a round of applause.
Thanks, Deb. Kayla Callahan, I swear you've run that award every single year that it's been offered. All right. Next, we have employee anniversary recognitions, and Noelle Sanchez Velez will present these awards since this recognition was her idea. And Noelle is our administrative manager and IT liaison. Everybody knows her, and she's truly amazing, and I swear there's literally nothing she can't do. Come on up, Noelle.
Thank you, Beth. So she already told you who I am, but I think everybody knows who I am. And I am so happy to welcome you everyone here, that we're finally in person. We get to be at this beautiful pond house and eat those French toast. Who was dying to have those French toast? Yes. So I get the honor of and privilege to announce the employee anniversary recognition. So since we did not meet in 2020 or 2021, and here we are 2022, I wanted to recognize those employees that have been here for a very long time. I myself have been with CPA for 23 years. And thank you. And our staff are dedicated and passionate about their work and the mission of CPA. They are our heroes. As you heard today, they are there for our participants. They're there to do anything possible to make sure that our participants feel at home. So we wanted to recognize those individuals that have been with us for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years and more. But I want to start with our leaders. I want to start with Beth Hines and Deborah Gala. Beth has been with CPA for over 31 years, and now 27 years. She started as an intern working for us, and look where you are now, Beth. We thank your leadership and the privilege to work alongside with you. You're not only leaders, but you're also our friends. Thank you. All right, so I will call out the names of the staff that have celebrated their anniversaries. Please hold your applauses to the end because we have a pretty long list. But I will ask our staff to please stand when I call your name. And then at the end of the meeting, you come see me and I have a little something for you, okay? All right, so Virginia Lewis from the Hartford Reentry Welcome Center. She's been with us for 25 years. Sherry Fernandez from the Work Release Program. She's been with us for 20 years. Sherry, where are you? You can stand, please. Margarita Rodriguez from the Manchester AIC, 20 years. Jeffrey Green from the Prison Arts Program, over 30 years. Sarah Drayton, Waterbury Transitional House, 15 years. Daniel Hall, Hartford AIC, 15 years. Deborah Barrows, Community Court, 15 years. Bernadette Fitzpatrick, or Ms. V, 15 years. Brooke Dunlap, 15 years, Hartford AIC. Sharon Miller, our accounting manager at Admin, 15 years. Amy Arroyo, Hartford Reentry Welcome Center, 10 years. Melvin Kelly, Hartford Community Court, 10 years. Our HR director who couldn't be here with us today, Marie McLean, 10 years. Derek Morrissey, 10 years. Mabel Gonzalez Nieves, Hartford Reentry Welcome Center, 10 years. Sandra Bradford Jennings, our development director, 10 years. Kayla Callahan, program operations director, 10 years. Isa Jones with the Hartford Regions, 10 years. Joanne Rivera, Waterbury Transitional House, 5 years. Lisa Mariah, Chief Financial Officer, 5 years. And Kirby Hart, Waterbury Transitional House, 5 years. Congratulations to you all and thank you for your service.
Thanks, Noelle. All right, let's see. Where are we? I think it's time to bring up our good friend Jeffrey Green. So Jeff is going to present the Gordon Bates Scholarship Award today. We have 2 participants who will receive this award and also the Raymond Rodriguez Transportation Award. But I think he's going to say a little bit about Gordon. Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
I've been ordered to. Per your order. I was going to wear my purple suit. I regret now that I didn't wear my purple suit. Hopefully there'll be a next time. I also regret not getting the Perfect Attendance Award. I always love getting that Perfect Attendance Award, and now you're belittling that award. Hurts my feelings. Reverend Gordon Bates, Executive Director Emeritus and Historian for Community Partners in Action, passed away on January 22nd, 2022. He was 87 years old. Gordon maintained a close relationship with CPA over the years and is dearly missed. As I'm sure most of you know, he would come here to the annual meeting every year, and he would bring his presence, his gravitas. He would come to the microphone, and he usually would have tears in his eyes, as he would remind us not only of the history of CPA, but of the people that worked for CPA. And he would charmingly plead with us to remember that when we did our work, and to do it with honor and self-respect. The large things that we do, but even the small little things that we do day to day in our work, to remember that we're part of this larger agency that's part of a much larger cause to assist people and to assist the community. And so I am honored to try to plead with you now to remember that. Remember, as you're doing your work and as you're walking through your day, to do it with self-respect and dignity. And I remember that, and I remember his lectures to me 30 years ago, and they stick with me. So I'm going to read this that you wrote. That says that Gordon was our beacon, and his memory encourages us to continue to preserve the legacy of CPA. She will always cherish her time with him, especially the last time they talked for hours about the agency. He was so excited to hear how CPA was doing and how we continue to persevere no matter the circumstances. He's very impressed with your leadership. Then called the Connecticut Prison Association, Gordon began his relationship with CPA in 1964 when he became a volunteer in our volunteer sponsor program. 5 years later, Gordon was hired as the program's director and led that program until he was named CPA Executive Director in 1980. Under Gordon's leadership, CPA rose to the challenge of combating the damaging shift to mass incarceration in Connecticut and its debilitating impact on people in prison and those recently released. CPA's volunteer sponsor program, legal assistance to prisoners, AIDS support program, and Time Out for You program were just a few of the many innovative services that flourished during his time as executive director. Today, we continue to operate several programs from Gordon's era, including the Prison Arts Program, Alternative in the Community programs, then called an Alternative to Incarceration, Transitional Housing, our Work Release Program, and the Resettlement Program. Before retiring in 1997, Gordon was the force behind changing our organization's name for the past 100 years to Community Partners in Action. He believed it was time for a new name that covered a larger purpose and stressed the work we are already doing in the community. After his retirement, CPA established the Gordon Bates Scholarship Program in 1997 in his honor. The award is used for tuition, books, or supplies for a CPA participant enrolled in college or career training. In 2017, Gordon wrote the history of CPA titled The Connecticut Prison Association and the Research for Reformatory Justice. He also wrote a coffee table version of the book called Consistency, Creativity, and Commitment, The Story of Community Partners in Action, 1875 to 2015. And now it's time for the scholarship awards in Gordon's honor. We have 2 this year. And the first I would like to ask him to come up is Daryl Green. With that last name, I like you already.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Daryl was released from prison on April 29th, 2022, and resided at a halfway house until the end of his sentence with the Department of Correction on September 23rd, 2022. Not that long ago. On this date, Daryl's period of probation began, and he was admitted to CPA's Hartford Transitional House at our Washington Street complex. Staff encouraged Daryl to attend CCAR, the Connecticut Community for Addiction Recovery, program that provides recovery support services and promotes recovery from alcohol and other drug addiction through advocacy, education, and other services. It wasn't long before Daryl realized he wanted to help and support others going through the same struggles as he, and therefore joined the CCAR Volunteer and Telephone Response Team. Daryl was named Volunteer of the Month this past November, and since then has been taking recovery specialist classes. He will be attending the Recovery Specialist Academy this January with an end goal of becoming a certified recovery specialist. The Gordon Bates Scholarship Award will help offset the costs of the academy and certification for Daryl. While residing at our Hartford Transitional House, Daryl has been a role model for other residents. He's been working and attending recovery classes since day one, has met all program requirements to date, and has provided support to his peers. He attends weekly case management sessions and continues to work on his own recovery in addition to helping others. All right, Daryl.
Thank you. Should I take this off? Thank you, and thank you. Casey, thank you. That's my case manager. Christy, Will, the whole gang over there. Gabriella as well. And listen, when I was released from prison, I found myself in a position trying to ascertain a solution to the madness that I have created. That was ultimately a detriment to my livelihood, physically and mentally. And I just kept fighting the fight, staying consistent, sitting down with counselors, speaking, and what my counselor did, she was able to extract, my inner thoughts. So I was able to, pretty much see exactly who I was and what I wanted to do. CPA gave me a chance to make a calculated decision on the movements that I'm going to do in this journey. And it's great. I'm not a good talker, but I'm just giving it to you short and sweet and what it is. Becoming a recovery support specialist is dear to my heart because it's not something you just waltz into. You really got to want it. You got to dig deep and you really got to want it. You can't just say, okay, I'm not getting high anymore, I'm not drinking, I'm going to go help others. No, you got to really want it because as Daryl alluded to earlier, living the experience is something deep and it's nothing to be played around with, because these are people's lives. So with that being said, I implore you all to continue the collective effort to do what we need to do. Donors, continue to do what you do because it works. I'm here to tell you it works. And amen. I'm gonna give you one more minute. I have a poem that I wrote. All right, it's called Changes of the Seasons. And this is something for us all, no matter what level of life you're on. This is something for you all. This is my gift to you. The changes of the seasons gives us hope to move on. The brisk, calm autumn flow captivates our spirits with energy from deep within. As the calculated process of the sweet taste of honey is slowly being brewed by our queens, deep meditation and hibernation fuels our souls with energy. Waters rise, currents flow. Our earth embarks on this inevitable mission, gradually spinning north of 1,000 miles per hour, blessing us with imminent showers from above, so that the deeply rooted can blossom from a spore below. So, how could the changes of the seasons not give us hope to move on? As individualized snowflakes are crystallizing and caking, 7 billion individualized heartbeats and skin tones are pacing and pacing. This is our journey. These are our lives. As white roses and calla lilies can slowly ease the tensions in the air, and the moonlight blazes through the misty clouds, creating solar flares. When that nightly summertime breeze settles, and you thought all hope was gone, it's the changes of the seasons that'll give you hope to move on. Beth, everyone here, donors, everybody, thank you. Again, thank you.
Mac was enrolled in the Hartford Reentry Welcome Center in July of 2022 after serving 28 years in prison. He was referred to the center by the Cheney Halfway House in Hartford. Hey. Upon enrollment in the center, Mac was connected to a manufacturing job at the Whitcraft Group. I thought it was Witchcraft at first when I read it. I was like, dang. You guys are up to something over there. An aircraft manufacturing company in Eastford, Connecticut. CPA transported Mac to and from his job at Whitcraft until he secured employment closer to Hartford at Hartford Hospital. Mac was hired by the hospital's environmental services in their trauma unit. Mac believed there was greater opportunity for upward mobility at the hospital, which is the primary reason he left Whitcraft. The benefits were also more substantial at Hartford Hospital. Since then, Mac has been volunteering his time at CCAR, the Connecticut Community for Addiction Recovery, because he promised himself to give back to his community upon his release from prison. Like Daryl, Mac's goal is to become a recovery specialist to help others in their journey of recovery. Mac's Hartford Hospital job landed him the opportunity to participate in an 18-week certification program to become a recovery specialist. The program is sponsored by Hartford Hospital, and because Mac works there, he was able to get into the program, which begins in January. Mac needs a laptop for the program, and the Gordon Bates Scholarship Award will be used to purchase the technology he needs. Mac, congratulations.
You can say anything you want. No disrespect to anybody. I'd like to say first, thank God for being here and making me up every day. Second, I'd like to say thank you to my mother, because that's my greatest fan, the best in the world. I'd like to speak on the Hartford Reentry Center on Windsor Street. There's a bunch of people there. They don't play. They're serious about their craft. They've shown me places to go. They're making avenues for me to travel through. And anytime I need them or got a problem and I go to them, they find an answer. If they don't know it, they find it for me and steer me in the right direction. I can't do it what Mr. McGraw did over here or what Mr. Neal did, my man Mr. Green. I can't match that. I did 27 years in the penitentiary, and I was involved in a group called the True Unit, the Cheshire Mentors Group. They're a bunch of young men that's been in prison, incarcerated, that's given their life to helping 18 to 24-year-olds and anybody else that want to learn something. For the last 6 years, that's been the #1 unit in the United States, because what we do because we want to do, not because we have to do it. And all you people sitting here, y'all do it because you want to do it and don't have to do it. So I can respect that, and I enjoy that. And if I can work with each and every one of you to learn something, to pick your brain, to learn one thing, to make me go further in this journey, I wish I could do that. But I don't have the time to see all y'all. So the ones I do meet, these are the ones I'll pick their brains. But back to CPA, Ms. Sula Guntherman, Mandy. It's a couple, I forget their names because there's so many of them, but my case manager is Mary Jane LeBoy. If you want somebody that's gonna push you, somebody that's gonna be honest with you and show you where to go, that's who you want. She does her job. She recommended me for this. I didn't even know till Friday. And I was like, huh? What's that? Where'd I go? Even this morning, I went to the wrong facility because I wasn't even really, to me, I don't think I got all the right information, but I'm here. I'm not going nowhere. And since I've been home, I've been helping other young men and women get jobs, training, and housing. I'm an intern that's not getting paid. So if anybody want to hire somebody and have a bulldog, I'm right here. I'm right here. And if you hire me, you will get a bulldog that'll stand by your side every day and represent your organization. Thank you.
You made us sound like we didn't know what we were doing. Congratulations to Daryl Green and Mac Young. In addition to Gordon's scholarship, both Daryl and Mac will receive the Raymond Rodriguez Transportation Award. And Raymond Rodriguez was a former participant of CPA who unfortunately passed away from a motorcycle accident. His case manager was Pamela Ron, who retired from the agency several years ago. However, Pam has kept Ray's memory alive by collecting cans. She's amazing, by the way. By collecting cans and exchanging them for money that she puts towards this award. Today, both Daryl and Mac will each receive $100 in Uber gift cards for transportation in honor of Ray, to make it easier for them to get back and forth to work and to their recovery specialist training. Again, congratulations. And while I'm up here, just in my role as the program manager for Prison Arts, I just want to let you know that the annual show will be opening. It's not the reception date, but I'm not sure of the reception date yet, so you're going to have to stay tuned for that. But it's going to be opening on the 20th of March at Eastern Connecticut State University in Willimantic. And you're all required to be there. I expect to see everyone there. It's going to be incredible. And that's it. That's the only thing I have to say. All right.
Thanks so much, Jeff. So I think we are, the Outstanding Program of the Year. This is our last award. This is a great award, and Deborah Gala back here to the podium to present it.
I'm back, just when you thought I wasn't coming back. So just wanted to quickly congratulate Daryl and Mac and really make mention to his mom being here. You know, incarceration affects the entire family, the community, and can't say enough how much it means to have your mom here supporting you. And thank you, Mom, for supporting him all these years. Yeah. So program of the year, this is how we kind of close out. I guess there is closing remarks. I'm not the end of it. You know, you've seen today the work that CPA does, the staff that we have as an agency, and just thank you all for being here, and thank you to the incredible staff that we have. This program, Hartford Community Court, stands out in many ways, right? It's pretty much the only program that connects with every other program in the agency. Every time you call Deb Barrows, who's the program manager, and ask her to do something for Regions in Hamden, Regions in Hartford, for the Reentry Welcome Center, her staff is there, committed and willing to do the work. Hartford Community Court is a really special program for so many reasons. One, it's because of the staff they have there. And two, when individuals come to community court, not only are they going to see the judge, but they're going to see a staff that cares. Individuals continue to come there even when they don't have court, because it's where they can get the basic need support that they need to carry on with their lives. And Deb Barrows, does everybody know Deb Barrows? She's incredible. Not only does she have an awesome name, but Deb Barrows leads this group. And in order to get Program of the Year, you have to have that strong leadership. And so, Deb, I thank you for everything that you do, for each and every one of your staff, for all of the individuals that come into community court, that you, and Daryl talked about it earlier, make them feel human again. And those pieces are so critical. And for the staff, right? You guys know you're awesome. Mel, you know you're awesome? And they have a special dance for you guys today, right? And then Tom O'Brien, who now we fortunately get to call him a CPA board member, was the prosecutor at community court. And how many years were you there, Tom? 11. Yeah. And the work that Deb and Tom and the team did is everlasting to the individuals that they impact. So really, thank you, Tom, for being here, for being a board member, for all the work that you did at Hartford Community Court as well. So the staff, Casey, come on up. Glenda, come on up. Janelle, come on up. Crystal, come on up. Kayla,
Yes, yes, I do. And then first,
we're gonna dance in the background.
you want us to dance now? Okay. Ready to dance? Good morning, everyone. We humbly and graciously accept this award, acknowledging what a privilege and honor it is to serve justice-impacted individuals. We share this award with all of you, with our amazing team at Community Partners in Action, our funders, our board of directors, Court Support Services Division, City of Hartford, State of Connecticut, and all our amazing participants in our community. But we'd also like to take a moment to thank Hartford Community Court, our former state's attorney, Thomas O'Brien, who helped us connect the dots to ensure that justice-impacted individuals got second chances. Tom, you need to come up, please. Ready? There is a quote by Brian Tracy that says, "If you want to achieve greatness, stop asking for permission." Hartford Community Court achieved greatness because Tom stopped asking for permission.
So with that being said, you have served justice equitably while personifying the tenets of procedural justice. You left an indelible mark at Hartford Community Court. So we want to give you this and say thank you from all of us.
Deb Barrows is probably the only person who can keep me speechless, which is hard to do. The Community Court is the most amazing organization you can find. I started there 11 years ago, 11 and a half years ago. And if you had an idea, you had to be careful. If you had an idea and you spoke it out loud, the next thing you know, Deb Barrows is putting that idea into place. And the staff, and there's others over the years who are not here today, it's seamless. One person steps in to take over for the next person, and I know they do it just for the money. Because everyone at CPA does it for the money, right? But it's truly a mission. It's a calling. Deb is also has her ministry degree. We call her, we get a lot of prayers and swears. But the one thing you know is when Deb says to do something, you better do it, because it's probably the right thing to do. She gives me and the others do too, too much credit for what I did at Community Court. I did it out of a labor of love. It was the best job I ever could have had. I miss it tremendously. I miss the people. But it's in good hands because the people, CPA, carries on. Everybody just gets up and does their job every day, which happens throughout CPA, which is why I'm on the board. It's a great organization. You do it for the mission, and everyone gives it their best every day. It's not an easy job that all of you do. For Community Court, it carries on. It's never been about one person. We're never going to let Deb retire. She doesn't know that yet. But it's just, if you haven't been to Community Court, take the opportunity to come in. I was never Mr. O'Brien or the prosecutor, it was Tom. And people come in off the street, which is a testament to the services and the treatment that they are provided with at that court. People feel welcome. They feel respected. I studied about procedural justice, but Deb Barrows and the staff there taught me about procedural justice. To treat people with respect, to make them trust you, to give them a little dignity, and just take the time to let them know that they're valued. That's what that court's all about, and that's because of the presence of CPA there. Deb, I used to tell you, And this, the legislature and anybody who wants to donate money to CPA should know. For every dollar that was spent at the court, at community court through CPA, there was at least $2 worth of services given back. It was just that way. Thank you for this, but it's really about recognizing the court and the work of CPA. It's never been about one person there, except maybe Deb. So thank you, but I congratulate all of you. Come here.
All right, we're almost there, you guys. So, time to close out the meeting. Before I bring our new board chair, Michael Kearney, I just have a few remarks. So, I have just always loved our annual meetings. They inspire me for the year ahead, and I hope it's had a similar impact for all of you. I always leave feeling happy hearing our participants speak about their success. I would like to recognize the 2023 board members. So if you would, those of you who are still with us, can you please stand? Thank you very much. I see Sue in the back. How are you, Sue? Actually, well, Jeff already reminded you about our prison arts show. And I think it's time to bring Michael Kearney to the podium. Come on up, Michael. Before I introduce Michael, I just want to thank everybody for being here with us today. I hope you had a wonderful time. I wish you all a very happy holiday season and a blessed year ahead. And so Michael is going to be our new board chair. And in addition to being our board chair, he is currently the vice president of emerging technology and innovation at the Hartford Investment and Insurance Company. He is responsible for building an innovative culture by discovering, researching, and mastering emerging technology and trends. Michael has over 30 years of experience as a senior executive responsible for building and optimizing information technology capabilities to improve organizational growth and efficiency. He also has significant board experience. He has served as board chair for 3 years for Community Health Resources and was a member of the Connecticut Coalition Against Domestic Violence. CPA expects to continue to thrive under Michael's leadership, and I look forward to our partnership.
You know, I didn't know I was going to actually make remarks this morning, and I was late. I was stuck in traffic because I'm not used to commuting anymore. But, you know, I'm just going to be brief here. As I was listening to the stories today, I grew up in Baltimore, Maryland. I'm the youngest of 3 brothers. My brothers struggled at times, had incarceration. And there were people there who ensured that my brother would make it. And so my brother today is 74 years old. And there are times in which I consider it a blessing of God that he was able to overcome his heroin addiction and his problems. And so when someone came to me one day and said, would you be on this board of this organization? And they said the name, and the name didn't relate actually to the mission very quick. But when the person told me what it was about, I said, stop, I'll do it. And I just want to say that I hope that I'll do as great a job as Ann did in helping Beth and the organization. But I'm truly blessed to have this opportunity to be the board chair. And I'm really looking forward to what we'll be able to achieve as an organization. Thank you.
And that's it. I hope you had a wonderful time. Thank you for joining us. Be safe.